Welcome, friends. LostScarf here, and it's time to talk about Star Wars Rogue One, because I want to talk about Star Wars Rogue One. So, first half of this video is going to be review talk about this thing. Second half will be spoiler talk, and I'm going to just say it's spoiler talk, spoiler talk. I'm going to say it a few times. Give a little bit of time for you to just realize you should be pausing. And if you need a visual cue, I will wear this scarf on do spoiler talk, spoiler scarf, whatever. Just some people are sensitive about spoilers. Like, there's not a lot of spoilers for this because, it's between 3 and 4. You know what's happening in 4. There's not a lot going on there. But you really get spoiled on it would be the fate of the characters in this story. That's really what the spoilers would be. And we'll talk about that in the spoiler talk section. So, as far as review goes, I'm talking about just the music, the cinematography, the direction, the characters, the story itself. Should you see it right now? I'll just tell you should see it. Just straight up. Just go see the movie. As a side story, this is a very good side story movie. It fits very well into Star Wars. It's just great as a side story. It is really good as a side story. I'm not sure how good the Han Solo is going to be. I don't know about the Boba Fett. I think it's going to be Boba Fett, right? They might even do Rogue Squadron, I think. Like, I wasn't really looking like these are going to be really good side stories, but Rogue One has set a standard. It is pretty good. Standalone, I think they probably would have done things better if it had to be its own story. But as a part of the universe of Star Wars, it works very well. And just telling you right now, when Rogue One ends, you want to watch episode 4. Like, I really want to see episode 4 right now. It was really good. It leads into it very well. It's so good. And first thing we'll talk about is the director, the direction. The directing is so good. The scale. It's Gareth Edwards' name of this guy. He directed Godzilla and a movie called Monster. I haven't seen those, unfortunately, but oh man, he does such a good job in the direction. Like, directing how people should be acting, directing the shots, the cinematography is amazing. I will say it beats Awakens as far as cinematography goes. There's some great shots in Awaken, and the shots in Rogue One are even better. Like, the scale, like you see in the commercial, you see the Star Killer and the Star Destroyer and the Death Star together, and you just see how freaking huge the Death Star is. And just referencing the trailer for all these things, like, there's a shot of the Death Star eclipsing the sun, if I remember correctly. That shot is so damn good when you actually see it in the movie, because it does a little bit more than that. You see some horizon shots of the Death Star, you see the Death Star near a planet. There are some amazing, amazing shots. If you like just landscape shots, if you like directing, like if you like cinematography, you will love those shots. Like, those are amazing, amazing shots. And even the up-close shots with the characters are really good as well. But the landscape shots are breathtaking. Absolutely breathtaking. As far as the music goes, it's not so great at the beginning, but it just picks up later on. It's really good. The movie in general is like this, talking about the story. The characters are pretty good. Most of the characters are very strong. The side characters, the secondary characters are incredibly strong. They're very strong. Tertiaries, of course, not so great. The leads are okay. Like, the leads are overshadowed by how good the secondaries are, in my opinion. It is such a good movie. Donnie Yen is great. There is a character in this movie that steals the show. Every single scene he's in, he steals the show, in my opinion. If you're a fan of Team 4-Star, it is Nappa. It is Super Kami Guru. It is that character where he's like, I am hilarious, and you will quote me. And it's just such a good character. One might not really quote them, but the scenes they're in are so very good. And their introduction is really good. And I'll talk about that in the spoiler talk. It's such a good introduction. I'd rather talk about that with those of you who have seen it. So really, again, when it comes to spoiler talk, if you don't care about spoilers, then fine. We talk about the movie at length on the spoiler side of things. But the comments, I feel like, just be careful with spoilers for sure. Because I really want to know what people think after having seen the movie. Because there are some scenes I'm like, dude, right, dude? Like, there were some good scenes. Like, I'll say it right now, Vader has potentially the best scene in the entire movie. Like, that's as far as I'm going to go with that. It is potentially the best scene because it is such strong fan service for Vader fans. It is so good. It is potentially one of the best Vader scenes you'll see. It is really good. Back to directing really quick, though. The movie and story, because this is what I was trying to say when I was talking about characters, it starts out weak. It actually suffers from an interesting thing. There's no story crawl at the start that sets up what's happening. And so the first act of the movie is setting up everything. It is setting up all this stuff going on. There's a lot of planet hopping because they have to set up people on different planets and all these things going on. And because they do that, the movie suffers for it, I feel. Like, there's still great shots. The characters are good. But as far as story goes, it's really loose, and it doesn't tighten up until you go forward into like the second act. Second act is really good, and the third act is so damn good that just that would be worth it just to buy for that, because the third act is full on war, and it is probably the best Star Wars battle you'll see. Like, there is fighting on planet, there's fighting in the sky, like the ship battling is so amazing, it is really good. This director, scale they did so well, the battling they did so well, it is so good. Watching X-Wings fly around, Y-Wings, the battle is good. The battling is good. It is, you will enjoy it. That third act is so strong. It starts weak, but ends really strong. It is a sight to behold. It is so dang. It is, like I said already, breathtaking. I am so impressed with the cinematography, with the direction of that movie. The characters, secondaries are incredibly strong. Donnie Yen is pretty good. His buddy's really good. They're just great characters. Very good characters. Forrest Whitaker, he's great for his scenes. He is chewing up the scenery. Chewing it the hell up, but he is great for his scenes. The villain is amazing. I really like the villain, and I would love it if there was more with that villain. He's in a lot of scenes, but I'm like, I like this villain a lot, because he's a smart guy, and he knows he's smart, but he's also very ambitious, and that affects his character in just ways that make him a fun character. And I would love if he was, somehow they could have had more stories with that character. Just having him as a villain is an enjoyable villain, I feel. It was not a villain you love to hate, but a villain you're like, man, he's just dealing with some stuff, and he's just trying to take it in stride. It's not a bad villain at all. I liked him. I really did like that character. Is there anything I'm leaving out here? Musical score gets better as it goes. Directing was good. The characters, just good acting. Good acting in general from everybody. I just feel like the leads could have been a little bit stronger. The secondaries overshadow them whenever the secondaries are on screen. I swear they're really good secondary characters. It's as far as linking it up with the other movies, they have little homages and little callbacks in the movie that are pretty good. They're pretty good. There is some special effects that I'll talk about in spoiler talk, because that is something that I would not want to ruin. That is an interesting thing that happens. The CG stuff. And just that Death Star. The way the Death Star is used as a form of intimidation in the movie is so good. Just the visuals of it, it's just so good. Whenever you see the Death Star, you're like, oh, bad things are coming. Like, it really is this great tool of fear. The Death Star is this great tool of everyone is screwed if they see this thing. It is so good. This is the thing, like, the Death Star is just, they get the plan and they kill the Death Star in 4, right? Like, it's supposed to be intimidating, and it is, because it just blows up a freaking planet, but then it's gone. And this is right when it's being built, and it's hitting its prime, and it's just so intimidating in the movie, and it's so well done. Just good job on that. Very well done. And anything else to talk about as far as review goes before going to spoiler talk? I think that's really it. It was just a good movie. One problem with it is it just tries to be a little more than it really is, because it's just about Rogue One and them getting the plans. They try to make it a little too complicated, and it just overcomplicates itself. They could have just tightened it up and cleaned it up a little bit, and it would have been fine. But it was a good movie. It was definitely an enjoyable movie for sure, so I definitely recommend it. If you're a Star Wars fan, obviously you're going to watch it. If you're not a fan of Star Wars, that's the question. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like as a standalone movie, it's not bad. But it does rely on you knowing the universe a little bit, because there are references and things going on, and just homages to things. And yeah, I feel like it's meant to be seen with the other movies for sure. Like, I want to see this before I see episode 4. I would definitely, if I'm like, oh, I feel like seeing A New Hope, well, I should see Rogue One before I see A New Hope. That's how I feel about it. That's definitely how I feel. And I'm really curious about the other side stories coming up in the future, because this set a pretty good standard in my opinion. Very good. Recommend it a lot. Thumbs up for that. You should check it out. You don't have to drop everything and watch it right now, but you should definitely see it at some point, because it is good. It is definitely good. People are going to unfairly go for a comparison between Awakening and Rogue One, and I don't feel it's fair, because Force Awakens, is part of a set of 7, while this is a side story that's supposed to be like supplemental to add to the universe. And as a supplemental, it is really good. If you had to compare it to the main story, of course, it's not going to be as good, I feel. But the cinematography, like the direction, everything, I felt was stronger in quite a few shots, especially the battle. The battle sequences for Rogue One, as far as just big battle, like war battle, lot better, like because it's such a bigger scale. Of course, there's no lightsaber fighting in this, but lightsaber fight was just great in Awakens, of course. And there's some things that can be better here and there. As far as characters go, Awakens has stronger characters for sure. If we have to play this game up making comparisons, I'll say there's some good things about Rogue One that are better, and there are good things that are better about Awakens. But just solid movie. Pretty dang good. And one more thing is, it's grayer. It's definitely grayer. You get to see the side of the Rebels where they're willing to win by any means a little bit, and you also get to see extremists in the Rebels, which is very interesting because you've never seen that before. You've never seen the grayer side, the darker side of the Rebels, which is a nice thing, but it is also a bleaker movie because, it's Rogue One. And it's good. It is definitely good. So recommended. Definitely recommend to see it. Definitely recommend to see it. So now for spoiler talk. Let me get the scarf. Chance to leave, like maybe you're listening to this from a distance, so here's your chance to come over and switch off the video, pause it or something, put it for watch later, something like that. Scarf does not know how to do a scarf, by the way, so this probably isn't very good. It's not very good. It's not very good. I think I'd want to wear a scarf like Laharl's. If I learned how to do that, that'd be good. If you don't know who Laharl is, I'm not going to explain it. It's a cool looking way to wear a scarf. Have I bought enough time for people for spoilers? So spoiler talk. And the first thing's got to be about Darth Vader. So 10 seconds. Darth Vader, that scene. That freaking scene, right? Dude, like, well, the two scenes with him, like, when you first see him, it's a pretty cool scene. I like what they do there. He's being intimidating. He's definitely intimidating the antagonist. And it's good. It's really good. I like that a lot. And I also like that scene because it's how ambitious the villain is. He's like, so I got the ship, right? And just starts getting choked out. And when he's on the ground, he's kind of smiling at Vader. He's like, wow, okay, that guy's kind of strong there. I like that scene because Vader's like, hey, you're kind of overreaching there. He doesn't even look at him and he's choking. Like, that's kind of impressive use of force. But the final scene, just seeing Vader, it's like a horror movie, and it's so well shot. Like that. These guys, they got the plans, the room's dark, and then the lightsaber goes on, and it's like, oh shit. It is on, and they are running, they are trying to get away, they're trying to fight Vader, and he is just destroying them, and it is it's such a cool scene. It just makes Vader very intimidating. It's a great scene for Vader. It is definitely fan service for fans. Just get to see how great Vader actually can be. And it's just nice. Just really nice scene. Strong scene right there. Best scene. Every scene that's best that isn't Darth Vader is all taken up by, of course, who I'm saying, K2SO. K2SO is definitely the scene stealer of every scene he's in that movie. He steals it every time. And I love his introduction. His introduction is great. Like, it's like, Jin is beating up the rebels. She's trying to run away. She jumps out the prison thing, and she gets caught midair by freaking K2SO, and he just drops her. Just drops her ass. Like, hey, congratulations, you've been liberated by the rebels. Like, I can't remember the exact words, but like, hey, we liberated you. You should feel happy about that. It's like, oh my god, that is such a great introduction because it just shows how strong this droid is. And his complete disregard for the people they're saving right there. He just does not care about humans that much. And then just this humor and sarcasm he has, the snarkiness he has. His snark is strong. His snark game is very strong. And I just love this character. Like, K2SO is such a great character. He's just being a droid. He's a little detached, but he also has some sense of self-preservation because he's just this reprogrammed droid and he has emotion. His voice acting is really good. And every scene with him is just, he steals it every time. Those scenes are his. They are his scenes. He just takes them away from everyone else. They are good. Like, introduction to him, that's really good. Like when they're talking, when he's like, I want a gun, I want to get a gun. And like, I just like that he's just kind of being a little childish. I like that. And then he's like, why are you letting her keep the gun? You know, chances of her killing you? And there is a sense of emotion in the way the droid's moving its body around. At least for me, I felt like there was some body language going on there. So it's really well done CG with that bot. It's really good. And just every scene with him is great. The scene when Jin, there's just good action. There's really good action. The scene when Jin just beats up all those stormtroopers and then she blasts the droid and the droid's kind of surprised him. He's like, oh god, did I just kill K2SO? And he's in the back, he walks in like, you didn't know that wasn't me, right? You didn't know that. You had no idea that wasn't me. And I just love that scene, because he's just like, you totally thought you killed me. Holy crap. Like, I love that scene. It's such a good scene. And later on when he gets his gun and he's just shooting freaking stormtroopers, like for his death scene, it's so good. He's just killing stormtroopers, helping them out. He's like, well, I'm gonna die now. And he just goes out kind of cool. He's like, boom, just goes out. He does his final act and he's just really like that character. K2SO was a fun character. The other character that steals their scenes is gotta be Donnie Yen. Donnie Yen is a great actor over in the East, and I just want him to get more stuff over here. I'm not looking forward to seeing, I don't even think I'm going to see the Triple X movie that he's going to be in. But Donnie Yen is a great actor. From all the movies I've seen him in from China, they're so good. And he just steals his scenes. He's so cool in his scenes. He's just badass, just kicking ass. Just an interesting blind guy that's just him and his buddy, who names I can't remember, which is unfortunate. But it's because they're just one-shot characters. They're both great. The way they work together is great. They got this fun, they're just brothers. They're just together. And I really like those two. How one is a blind man full of faith, and the other one's a man who can see everything, and he's got, like, no faith left at all. And they're just so great. And just when he beats everything up, when he takes out a freaking TIE fighter while being blind was really cool, because he has the Force so he can still sense things. And that's what I like this. When the damn mammoths come in, like, I can't remember what they're called, AT-ATs? When the AT-ATs come in, that's what they're called, right? Because the chicken walkers are called AT-STs? I can't remember the name of the chicken walkers, but when the chicken walker shows up, it's cool too. But when the mammoths come in, they're so intimidating as well. Just great size of scale going on there. And Donnie Yen, before they show up, he's like, shit, something's coming. And then he looks in the direction and is like, oh, they're coming in. And also the scene when, I'm just calling him the Heavy, because I can't remember the name of the characters, unfortunately. When his buddy, the Heavy, just blasts it and just doesn't do enough to it. That was also a cool scene. And just the concept of, what I like is his character is a Heavy. Literally, he's using a chain gun, but it's a laser chain gun. And he's accurate as balls with it. He is just mowing people down with that gun. It is so cool to see a character like that. And I just really like that character. For their deaths, Donnie Yen's death, it's so cool, his sacrifice. But when his buddy dies, I feel like it could have gone longer. It's such a cool scene, right? Like, he seems like, okay, the Force is with me, I can do this. And he starts mowing down 3 guys, and he mows down a 4th guy, and then he dies to a grenade. And it's just, I felt like it could have been longer. The scene's really cool, just how it's shot. The smoke's coming, soldiers coming out, he's blasting them, and then he gets blown up. And I just felt like I would have loved seeing him just take out 20 guys and then die. Only taking out 4 guys is still good, but he could have had just a cooler death, just with a little more murder going on, I guess. It just could have been just a little bit better, but it was good. It just could have been a little bit better for me. The Defector, that guy's death is unfortunate. Like, he does his moment. This is what's really good is in Rogue One, when they're all heading there, I really like the direction because you get the shot of all those guys there and they know it's a one-way trip. They know what their mission is and they know they're not coming back. And you see it on their faces, you see it in their body language, and that's just great directing and great acting by the actors. I felt that. I really felt that they understood it's a one-way trip, and it was really good. I really, really liked that a lot. I appreciated just how well shot the movie was and how well directed it was. I really like this director now. I want to see his next thing, because I really like the direction that he did with this. And just just all those tertiary characters were pretty cool for their little bit. And what was I going with here? Let's see, Battlefield stuff. No, I don't want to talk about that just yet. But the Y Wings and the X Wings, and there's another wing I could not recognize. Like, just seeing those fighting, just the battle was so good. Just seeing just shooting and just crashing, getting caught. And one of the cool scenes is when another Star Destroyer shows up. I think it's Vader's Star Destroyer shows up while the ships are flying away. It just whoops in, and then just a couple people crash into it, which is just great. Just boom. It's like, oh, geez, that's the risk of using warp speed right there. You don't know what's gonna happen, and just shows up, crash, and well, those guys are dead. That's unfortunate. And now I feel like I want to bring up the CG stuff. There were 3 or 4 CGs, and that's got to be the big one's got to be. I think his name's Grand Moff Tarkin. Isn't that his name? Grand Moff Tarkin. The guy who's controlling the Death Star. His CG was not the best. Like, I was hoping that when they showed him and he's talking and you can see his reflection when he's talking, like, okay, that's all we're going to see of this guy. That's going to be fine. But then he turns around. I'm like, oh God, he's talking. And it's like an uncanny valley going on there. What did you think of that? Is a good question. Like, it just feels like an uncanny valley. Like, they just didn't want to get a new actor. They CG'd this guy. It's a way of homaging it and just keeping it all kind of, what's the word here? Fluid, just keeping it together by not having another actor there. But he just looks a bit weird, and it just doesn't always work. After like the first scene, seeing him in another scene, like, oh, we're gonna have more scenes with this guy. At that point, you just accept it. At least for me, I'm like accepting. I'm like, okay, this guy looks normal to them. Doesn't look normal to us, but he looks normal to them. Just gonna let it go, but he just looks kind of weird. And what's interesting is we see. I'm not sure who we see, but I'm very sure we were seeing some people from episode 4 as far as the rebels go when they're flying the Y-Wings. Like, I think Gold Leader we saw from 4. Like, they just put him in there. I think that's what they did. I'm very sure that's what they did. Pay homage to that with Gold Leader, I think. And that was pretty cool because I could not tell. Like, I had a guess, but I could not tell. And I'm still thinking maybe I'm wrong by guessing this, but I really think they brought in some old footage for that. But the one that was really good is the last scene of the movie. When you get to see Leia. When you see Leia, I was completely convinced, like, holy crap, that looks really good. Like, I could not tell. I bet if I watched it again and just had the ability to just pause and rewind, I could probably tell. But just seeing that right there, I'm like, I could not tell. And I was impressed. I was very impressed with that last scene. And that last scene makes me want to see episode 4, because, like, Leia's got the plans. She's got the plan. She says, this is hope. We have hope. And then Vader shows up eventually in 4, and, like, damn. It's just good. It's just good. The CG, though, just, some was good, some wasn't. Like, the movie is, in general, it just starts out, it's okay. Then it starts to pick up in Act 2, but Act 3 is just right the hell up. It picks the hell up. It is up there. It is stellar. It is really good. And yeah, I just really enjoyed the movie. I really liked it a lot. And if you just kept watching because you don't want to care about spoilers, you got to see these scenes. They're really good. Those of you who have, of course, seen the movie, just right? Like, those are good scenes. The battles were so good. The third act is so dang good. Everything on Scarif with an I before F, basically. That's how I remember it. Scarif, so good. And do you feel like the start was disjointed like I do? I feel like it was just really disjointed. Like, we jumped the planet, jumped the planet, jumped the planet, jumped the planet. I feel like it suffered from not having the crawl to set things up. That's what I felt like. I liked Jyn. I liked her, and also her rebel buddy. I liked them, but they weren't the strongest characters. Like, they did not take this. Like, they let the scenes get stolen from them. Maybe is probably not the right way to say it, but they were good, but I think they could have been better, maybe, because Jyn's cool. The commercial makes Jyn such a badass, and she is a badass. But she's not as great as I thought she was going to be. And then the rebel guy, like, unfortunately, I don't remember all the characters' names, because they're one-shot characters, so I just don't remember them. The rebel guy, it's cool seeing how gray he is, how he's killed so many people for the rebels. how he's killed people on their side, killed people on the other side, and how it does eat at him a little bit. It's very interesting seeing that character. But it's what's the word here? They could have been better, I think. And there are there's two scenes. Well, okay. First thing is, notice all the scenes that were in the commercial, like in the trailer, that weren't in the movie. Like Ira Bell's not in there. Some of the speech she gives isn't in there. There's just scenes that are like, okay, so that was just for the trailer. That's it. But those were good scenes for the trailer for sure. And the aliens looked really cool. I forgot to mention that. Like the new aliens we got to see looked pretty cool. As far as there's two things that didn't feel right, and one was Jin giving the speech in the middle when she's not in the middle, but before the third act, where she's like, "Come on, guys, we gotta rally and we gotta take out the Death Star. We gotta get these plans for the Death Star," and no one's really having it. She's doing the speech, and it's kind of weird how she's doing this speech, but it's partially because of the trailers that did it. Because the trailer has her giving the speech, this rallying speech, which she shouldn't be giving anyway. And in the actual movie, it's not really her doing rallying speech. She's like, "Come on, guys, we gotta do this, or else we're all gonna die. Come on." It's still kind of a speech, but not that kind of speech. And so it's still kind of awkward, I feel. And the other one is just how the villain gets killed. Not the poetic death he has, but before that, when the rebel guy shoots him. Like, the rebel gets shot, we think he's dead, and he's not gonna be dead, he's gonna come back later. I knew that, but I was like, I really hope it's not what I think it's gonna be. And it is exactly what I thought it was gonna be, which is unfortunate, where the villain's got Jin, she's screwed, and then he gets shot in the back. And I was hoping that wasn't gonna happen. But they set it up. I'm like, ah, great. I thought, when he started falling, I'm like, oh god, we're gonna see him fall away to his death. Nope, he just lands there. I'm like, okay, they're setting that up. And that was unfortunate. And she did not, they shouldn't have had it in a situation where she gets saved. It should have been her saving herself, I feel. Definitely should have been her saving herself, or she dies. She gets shot. She still takes the guy out after getting shot, and then she hits the switch. And maybe she bleeds out up there, or she's still alive long enough to get taken out by the Death Star itself. Those things were really cool. Death Star shots, so cool. When it destroys Jakura? Not Jakku. Jahedra? When it takes out that town and just the destruction from it, it's so cool looking. Freaking Forrest Whitaker. It was kind of cheap having him do the breathing thing just to throw you off. Didn't need to have that. But him getting killed was a pretty cool scene. Just the CG of that, the special effects were really good. And then again, when we see it again on Scarif, when we see that happening, it's really cool. And it's so poetic, of course, the villain getting killed by his own weapon. But Jin's death, and the fact no one survives in Rogue One is very unfortunate. No member of Rogue One survives, which is unfortunate. I really was wondering if they're going to kill her off, or is she going to get away at the end. I was really wondering that if it ends up, everything gets destroyed, and you think she's dead, but she actually got away, and she's just off somewhere else. Maybe the rebel guy joins her, maybe he dies anyway. But she gets away. I was thinking that was going to happen, and she just doesn't come back, because the only reason she's there is to stop the Death Star, because that's her dad's dying wish. She's not actually there for the rebels, besides the fact that she just hates the Empire for what's happened. But she really was rather not be a part of any of this, is Jin's character. And then she goes with the cause because she wants to fulfill her dad's dying wish. And I would have been fine if she got away. If we had this dark ending except she gets away, which some people would have felt was cheap, but I would have been fine with it, because she's not going to show up in any more of the movies because the Death Star is destroyed. I mean, the Death Star's, they got the plans. It's up to them now. It's going to get destroyed, maybe it doesn't, but it's up to them now. She did her job. She's going to go do whatever she wants now. I thought that was how it was going to end, but it didn't. And I just feel like they overcomplicated just how the whole Death Star thing happens. But I do like that they explain the weakness. That it wasn't just some oversight, but it was actually made. And I like that. I felt like a very smart thing about Galen. The one thing I like about Galen is, they were going to make the Death Star without me. They didn't realize it, but they were on their way. So I helped them, and I created a weakness. And I like that. I like that there's a reason. It's not some oversight. Someone actually made a weakness in it, and then they got the plans for it. And then they know what the weakness is. And it still leads back to the interesting thing of, in episode 4, they know what the weakness is, and you can say they didn't do enough to stop it, but they did. You can also argue that they should have put a grate there. Maybe they did, and the torpedoes just melted them. I talked to Jinx about this. I'm like, why didn't they just put more there or whatever? She's like, they had turrets and fighters. They had a lot of defenses on that trench towards the port. And maybe there were grits. Maybe they got melted on the when the torpedoes go in. Because it's still 2 meters wide, for crap's sakes. They put every precaution. Because I remember it as they didn't do crap, but like, no, she's like, there's all these defenses. So I'm like, okay. So it's just great to see that there wasn't a weakness put in. Like, they actually say there's a reason why the weakness is in there. It's not that it was just some oversight of engineering. It was the guy who helped design it. He put it in there, and since he's there on the spot making the thing, he can make sure no one notices it. And they don't notice till it's too late, till the Death Star's already built. So I like that aspect. All in all, there's probably other scenes, but I think I went over most of the scenes, and it's just, I like the movie. It was very enjoyable, and I'm curious what scenes y'all liked, and do you agree with me on this and that, or do you disagree with me? What do you think? That's really what I want. I really would like to have people talk about Rogue One with me, because that's why I talk about these movies, because I like talking about movies, and I like to see what other people's opinions are. But there you go, that right there is the video. I had fun talking, hope you had fun listening. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.